Hello everybody, Chris and Tanya with Clutter Reduction Junk Removal. We were at a repeat client restaurant that she owns. It's like a little bistro. And we're out back in an alley grabbing these little benches here. There's 4 of them. They just brought it outside for us, paid us cash in and out just like that. They're opening up in like 20 minutes, so they went back to work. We're just gonna grab these with the hand truck one by one. Throw them on the truck. I just charged a quarter of a load basically. And we should be out here pretty quickly. So after this, we are going to be heading to another repeat client to pick up a couple of things out of storage, bring it to her house, and then remove a couple of donations. So pretty easy day, which is great because we did a 5K this morning. Tired, very, very tired. But yeah, I guess we're gonna be coming back here probably within a week to grab some more stuff, and then again in a couple of weeks to grab some more stuff. They're gonna be doing some remodeling. So this all came from a lady who I believe we found her on Facebook, right?
Originally?
Yeah.
I think so.
I think she had a post for something and we commented.
Or vice versa, we had to post out, I thought.
Maybe we had a post out and she commented, and we went to her house and grabbed a few things, and then she had those like heaters that you have outside of a restaurant. It looks like a giant umbrella and it shoots out heat. And I was like, oh, these are interesting. Like, do you see these at the restaurants? She's like, yeah, that's where they came from. I own a couple of restaurants. And I was like, oh, well, if you ever need junk removal, if you're doing renovations, and here it is. So, always try to find a way to plug yourself in if you can. And then the other client just found us, I think, on Google and turned into a very much repeat client. Oh, look at you go. Look at that, professional over here. What? You don't need it. It's only for like when we have the dolly. Big pull up. He's so strong. And just kind of stand it up a little more, then. This must be what it feels like to have employees. I just sit here, collect the money, get the invoices signed.
The other two. I'm so tired after that.
Maybe one more and I'll get some photos.
Yeah. Get my exercise for today.
Yeah.
Look at that, already done 11,000 steps.
Yep.
Almost to my goal.
Pretty cool. Remember to push forward and just kick back.
Oh, yeah.
All right, my turn.
See who does it better. You probably do it better. I'm so smooth. My landing was a little better. And I think there's something in there, like a knob or something. wrap it up, go to our next one.
A little close to the truck. All right, get you. Okay. All right, so from yesterday, the second job we were supposed to be doing rescheduled to today. She is what we like to describe as the perfect client for junk removal. Junk removal is a luxury service for convenience and time mainly. Either if somebody can't do it or don't want to do it, or they value their time more than their money, and they're willing to pay us to come out and do something that they could probably do themselves, you know? We're not doing like hoarder house cleanouts for these people. You know, these are like, hey, I have a couple of items that, you know, I know you guys donate, and then like these items here are trash, but the majority of it's donation, right? That's a lot of our clients. So she's a perfect example of it. You know, she was like, hey, my day's become a little bit chaotic. I had something pop up. Can we do tomorrow? And I'm like, sure. So that's like a good example, you know? It's not somebody, like, they value their time, right? Something comes up, hey, this takes priority. Like, let's switch it up. And we do our best to accommodate that. But we're literally picking up a couple of dog cages, like a fence and like 2 little things. And then we may try to sell her, she has a restoration hardware table and chairs that she's been trying to sell for like 6 months, having a really hard time doing it. And I was like, well, if you ever just want it out of your storage unit, because it's like the main reason she hasn't downgraded her storage unit to a smaller one yet. I'm like, if you want to just get rid of it, I'll try to sell it for you. We can split the proceeds, you know? So she said, I'll take you up on that offer finally. Because she has someone who was supposed to pick it up, and now she knows how it feels to deal with Facebook Marketplace. Person kept scheduling, kept canceling, kept scheduling, kept canceling. After haggling down the price like 75%. And she's like, I'm done with these people. And I was like, that's how we feel every single time we try to do anything on Facebook. So anyways, we are headed right now to an estimate, actually. It's an estimate that we gave a couple of weeks ago to a realtor that we've done some work for. And we did it back in like, I think June 1st, or actually no, at the end of May we did it, with the intention of it being done like in June like 22nd, June 23rd. It was something that was closing. The buyers are going to keep a couple of the pieces. The family was going to take a couple pieces, and then we're taking everything else. So it's like around a $2,000 job that I quoted. Nothing crazy. It's like 2.5 loads and then some bagging. I think I have one heavy item fee in there because there's a big glass tabletop. Otherwise, it's a pretty straightforward job. So the daughter who is down, who's kind of orchestrating it all and paying it, she just wanted me to come by just to reconfirm, because she's just a little nervous with everything because nobody's going to be there on the day of besides a realtor. So I said, well, I'll tell you what, when you come down, let me know and I'll come meet you over there and we will hash it out and reconfirm everything and, you know, just justify that the estimate is in fact correct. So that's what we're headed to right now. All right, that's the junk removal / donation. Now to get the stuff to go to storage. And here's the stuff for storage. So, high chair, dog bags, fencing, pot. See what I mean? It's little stuff, but it's just not worth it for her to go do it herself. And that's what they have us for. Right, so we just got to the storage unit. We're just gonna hang out for a few minutes because I'm in the shade and I got tired all of a sudden. So, we did that estimate again. I basically just went through. I already had photos of everything in the estimate, and I had like, I put in the room, and then I'll make any notes like the buyers are keeping certain things. So the first time I went there when we were with the realtor, I wrote like living room, like coffee table, and the end table and the artwork is staying for the buyers. And then I'll move on to each room, so that way when they go to review the estimate or we go to do the job and then there's still stuff left over, it's because it was in the estimate. Or if they try to say, no, you're taking all of this, I can say, okay, that's fine. But in the estimate originally for this price, these things weren't going. So now we're gonna adjust this price. So there's no confusion, there's no he said, she said. It's there, it's photographed, it's edited, it's signed off, and everyone knows what's going on. that's why I like the current app I have, and that's what we've been doing for a long time. So with that being said, today, a couple things are changing. The buyers are still taking the same stuff. That's already in contract. Like if they're not there when they buy the condo, they have to breach the contract, and then adjust the pricing that they already paid for it. So very important, certain things stay. In addition to that though, a family member came and took a couple of things, and the cousin who lives like a half hour away now wants the entire living room set. The whole living room is basically going with him, and then 2 lamps in the bedroom and like a plant in an urn. He's taking all that. Now, of course, we're gonna be there, so he asked if we can deliver it. And he said, can you just leave it on the end of the truck and just drop it off at my place, even though it's a half hour away? And I was like, not on the same day, because I'm not gonna stack your moving stuff the same way I will be stacking the junk removal. We have to wrap this stuff. I have to wrap all the end tables with glass. I have to wrap the coffee table. We're gonna shrink wrap the couches. I gotta get a speed pack for the pictures and the lamps and stuff. Like, that's gonna be a more delicate situation. So we'll have to do that on a separate day when the trailer is empty, and we'll just drive everything up there and just do one big situation. And then when we go back the next day for the clean out, all that will already be gone. So I'm gonna give them a call later to confirm a time. Probably just end up charging 3 hours worth of labor and like 50 bucks for the travel, and we'll just kind of call it for that. So the problem initially was, as she was saying, like, yeah, he's gonna take this, he's gonna take that, he's gonna take that. That took out like half of our truckload. I quoted 2.5 loads for the job. Now it's gonna be like 2 loads. So obviously we're losing money on the clean out, which kind of sucks. But at the same time, for us to deliver it there is actually gonna be a little bit more expensive. And that's gonna actually end up kind of helping us out a little bit, even though, and here's the downfall, it might be more money to do the moving portion, but it's gonna take us like 4 times the amount of time. So we're gonna see what he wants to do with that. And what I basically did was, on all the estimates, I wrote down 6/15, which is today's date, and then I wrote down anything that changed. So like, okay, the cousin's taking this, and that, and then I had to go through and basically re-estimate the job. So I basically took out half a truck. I'll resend her that later on, answer any questions she has. So I'm glad we went to go do that estimate, because a lot just changed right there. So that is that. We're gonna drop off this in storage really quick. Something I wanted to talk about real quick, this is probably gonna be a few minutes, so if you don't care about this, you can carry on. It's contracts. We got contracts made a few months ago by an attorney that we know. One of the services that he covers is business law. Pen is stuck. He is an attorney that we know through our networking group, and I've met him quite a few times. And I kind of reached out to him a couple years ago. We had this one client that was a repeat client, super nice lady, right? Had a couple of bad things happen to her. Really nice, really nice. I really liked her. Until we did a job for her one day. And then 2 years later, I'm still getting messages and threats. She's why we got contracts made. Talking about suing and police reports and all this fun stuff. Out of 674 people, one person, $1,400 worth of contracts. And that's time, it's like $4.50 an hour basically. And that was a reduced price too. But he is a good attorney, and we know him personally. So anyways, I reached out to him a while back and I was like, hey, this is kind of what we want done. Can you make this? And he said, sure. And we talked about it, and he revised everything that we had kind of discussed, and he got it done pretty much to the T of what I asked for. And it's all just attorney jargon that will actually hold up in court. That's the only reason we didn't do anything online. You can kind of go online and look up, like you can even chat GPT it, like a junk removal service agreement, and it'll spit you out something. But is it gonna have all the necessary keywords that'll help hold up in court is the problem. So I'm not gonna take that kind of risk for something like this. And it was something that what this one client proved to be, if anything, I hope I never have to really use it, but if anything, it provides peace of mind that if something does go wrong, I know an attorney now that has a background knowledge of what we do, and we have a contract designed by him that is specific to us in our state and our county. So everything is like up to date as far as what is necessary if anything were to develop. So that was the reasons behind it. And we don't have every customer sign this. It's 4 pages, and we have one for credit card authorization in case we have a bigger job and the client's not here. We have one for just a general agreement, and we only really do it on bigger jobs, so like clean outs or like a job over like $2,000, for example. And then we have one for when we do our one-on-one decluttering, which is where we basically help the person go through stuff and then we separate it and dispose of. We don't organize and put it back. We just kind of help with that first initial step. Just real quick, our general, I'm just going to go over the topics. So you have all your necessary agreements, scope of services, basically explaining what we do. The customer's agreeing that we're going to be removing contents with the intention of either disposing it, donating it, recycling, selling it, whatever, doesn't matter. Our job is to remove it from their property. That's it. This was really important. Waiver liability. Basically, again, we have the legal right to dispose, destroy, discard, or otherwise divest itself into that property. Attorney jargon here. They're basically confirming that they have the authorization to get rid of the stuff. So if somebody tries to steal a bunch of stuff and then have us get rid of it to remove the evidence, right? Or if it's a family member trying to get rid of another family member's stuff without their permission, or if they're trying to mess with an inheritance, or maybe their parent has dementia and they're selling all their crap in their house and the other family members haven't agreed on this or something, one of those kind of situations, or if it's a divorce or separation, or if there's a lien on the property, all this stuff, the customer is acknowledging that they have the authorization to have us there to do this job. And if anything were to happen, like a husband gets home, he's like, where's all my stuff? And they call the wife and they're like, oh, this company came and took it all. And they call me and say, why'd you take all my stuff? I didn't give her permission for that. You stole it. I'm gonna call the cops. I can say, well, I have a contract here signed by your wife that says we have permission, and at this point you need to take it up with her. So we've had that happen in the moving industry quite a bit. I actually had a similar situation happen with a repeat client once. Luckily, he was pretty cool about it, and I saved his tools for him, even though we don't like to do that, and we ended up giving that back to him at some point. But it happened a lot in moving. Like, people will hire us to do a move while the spouse is at work, and like 3/4 of the way through, they come home for a lunch break or something, and here's a moving truck in their driveway with all their crap on it. And they're like, I didn't give permission to take this stuff, offload it all. And then the cops have to get called, and then we have to wait for them to figure this out. Meanwhile, we're just sitting here waiting, getting paid. But I've had that happen. So I made sure to get that in there. Payment for services, payment due at the completion of the job, and or at the end of each day if we're doing multiple jobs or multiple days. And then they're releasing liability if they were to forget anything in pocketbooks or pockets or drawers or in compartments or storage totes, or they accidentally threw away something, or they forgot their passport in the desk that we just got done disposing or donating. We're not responsible for any of that stuff, which is also something that happens quite often. Publicity, we're basically allowing us to take pictures and videos for social media. If they say otherwise, then that is fine. They can request us to not do it, and we'll just not do it. It's not a big deal. And then everything else is kind of just law stuff that I don't understand fully. I can summarize it, but I don't fully understand it. There is one thing in here, termination. So we may terminate a job at any time, or the client can terminate it, but if they try to stop us after we already started the job and there's like a balance due, they will be responsible for payment either on the full day's agreed upon payment rate or the sum of 500, whichever is less. So at the end of the day, no matter what, at least we don't walk away with zero if the client just says, hey, I don't want you here anymore, leave. And then entire agreement signature. So yeah, that's what we do. Contract for clutter reduction junk removal services. Again, it's peace of mind. Like, we've had similar situations happen. It just never escalated except for this one lady. We had one situation with the separation. Luckily, it was a positive situation and the guy was a repeat client. Otherwise, that could have been really bad. And then as a mover, everything I just explained there, times 10. It happens all the time. So it was more of a peace of mind for long term. Like, I can keep this contract forever. All I have to do is update the year on the paper every day or every year. Or if I change my phone number, I just edit it. It's all PDF. I can edit it all. So that's why we did it. But we're gonna go offload here really quick, and then that'll be it for today. I'm gonna work on the truck sides, try to get those built and get the signage on it. So hopefully by tomorrow, those will be good to go. So we'll have a separate video talking about that if you wanna check that out in a little bit. I think that's about it. So see you guys next time.